Hi, Steve Draper here in my workshop in Bellevue. This is a somewhat different video today, and you'll notice I'm dressed in my long-sleeved plaid flannel shirt, which normally I don't wear long sleeves when I'm in a workshop working on things, but today, for this video, we're not going to be turning on any machines or anything like that. So what I want to talk about today is having your tables perfectly aligned with each other. Now, I know all of you have read instructions in the owner's manual on a procedure that Shopsmith suggests you use. You've probably seen some others that have done videos showing the technique to get that accomplished. I just want to tell you that there's a much easier way to do that I've discovered that will save you a lot of time and aggravation, and when you're done, it'll just be perfect when it's done. So first thing I want to go over with you is the different types of tables you could have. Now over here we have a Mark IV, and over here we have a Mark VII. The tables are the same. They're both the same.
I can't find it. There it is.
So, and I have up here, I've got fixed extension tables. I'm going to pull this one down. I've got this one marked in the bottom here, right, because I use it on the right end. And I got this one over here marked left for the left end. Now, in the owner's manual, they say that you can't use the same table on both ends and have it so perfectly aligned. And if you do it the way Shopsmith tells you to do the alignment, that's true. But I want to show you today that you can have actually the same table that will be perfectly aligned for both ends. So you probably have the experience of having your tables in here. Now this here is a fixed extension table. It could just as well have been a floating table. Could have one of these floating tables. And sometimes you'll probably use your floating table on the right side here, and it'll be perfectly flush here. And then you'll switch it over to the other side, and the floating table will not be perfectly flush. And that's frustrating. Also, when you go to do them aligned, if you do it the way the manual shows you, you're having to do these nuts and everything underneath here in order to get it right. Well, I'm going to show you here on my workbench a much easier way of doing it. So the first thing we want to go over is the main table itself. You want to make sure that you have these alignment jig here, which they come in a pair. There's a pair of them like this. It's called a rail to table alignment jig. I've written up here on the whiteboard here. It's stock number 522187. It's $9.95. I've written $10 up there. People who have done the upgrade on their machines to the 520 system get one of these when they do that. People who buy a new Mark VII do not get these alignment. So I recommend, if you don't have a set, get a set. And so the first thing you want to make sure is that the rails on the main table that you're using is perfectly aligned. And I'm going to come over here on this Mark VII so you can see how that should be aligned. And I put this on the main table. When this is flat on here, then I'm going to pull off this magnetic ruler. We don't need that on there. Then this lip here should be perfectly touching the extrusion all the way along. And it should not be any space. And you should be able to slide it in and out. And also there should be no space between this and the extrusion. There and on this side both. And on the back side, you need to make sure it's the same thing. So once you have done that on your main table, you're going to leave that, and we're not going to make any changes to it. The changes we're going to make is on the extrusions that are on the extension table, whether it be a fixed or a floating, so that they match up perfectly. So what I've done here is over on my workbench. Most of you probably have a workbench. My workbench happens to be perfectly flat. If you have a perfectly flat workbench, you could do it without these bar clamps. But I put in these on here. I'll be right back just to demonstrate to you how you can do it if you don't have a perfectly flat workbench. Now, this is straight edge. This is perfectly flat everywhere my workbench is. So if you have a perfectly flat workbench, you can do it without using these bar clamps. If your workbench is not perfectly flat, use bar clamps like this. They need to be the rectangular ones that are the aluminum ones, not the round bar clamps, because those are not perfectly straight. But these are perfectly flat, which you could put on your workbench like I have here in order to do the setup for the alignment. So what we're going to do is we're going to align all these tables, put them all upside down here, and it'll easily be able to reach everything to access it. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to take the table off my Mark 7 and put it upside down over there. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take this off. Actually, I can put that back on there now. Okay. So I'm going to put it upside down on these bar clamps. Now I'm just doing this to demonstrate how to do it if you have bar clamps. I'm not going to complete the process without the bar clamps. But I've got it here. So there I am, right there. Okay. Now I want to make sure that, so your table, when it's just resting on here, take a sheet of paper, okay, try to put it between the table and the clamp. You can't do it. And if you can at any spot, that means your clamp's not perfectly straight. But mine happened to be perfectly straight. Same thing on the back side. Take a piece of paper back here. Same thing. I can't get that piece of paper under it. So I know that my bar clamp is flat. Now, I'm going to take these bar clamps off. We're going to finish the process on just the bare table itself. It's much easier. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to put my table about right here, approximately. And again, I'll just show you again with a piece of paper. It will not go under there because the table's flat. This table and your main table are both flat, so that piece of paper will not go under there anyplace. All right, so to do the alignment, we're going to use the connector tubes that you have with your machine, because these extrusions and the connector tubes, they're really perfectly machined, and that's what's going to get you your accuracy on doing your table alignment. So I've got written up here, there's actually 4-sized connector tubes that Shopsmith made over the years. The ones that come with your machine are this 27-inch here, this 60-inch. I have that. Shopsmith no longer makes it. That's 5 feet long. The 18-inch, that comes with these brackets here, over here in the wall.
Right there.
That's these right here. And the 18-inch, that's these. One of these comes with each pair. And then the last size is, if you look up here in the wall here, I've got the Shopsmith system where you can hang your tables on the wall. And the hanging tube here for that system, that is 45 inches long. Now, you don't have, if you want to have extra tubes only, which that's what I recommend you buy, so you can have some longer tubes, so you're not dependent only on those 27-inch ones, you can buy these separately by themselves. And I've written up here next to the 45-inch, stock number 522187, they're $30 each. And that's with shipping delivered. So I recommend you have a pair of those, because when you want to do long tables for surface, You don't have to use all those 27-inch ones. You can use this longer one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my two fixed extension tables and I'm going to put them up against here as though they were floating tables. So this says left, so it actually goes here because we've flipped the table upside down, so that reverses which side it's aligned on. And then this one here is the one that normally goes to the right end, but we flip it upside down, and on here it's going to be on the left end. So now, with it on here, of course, same thing here. These tables are flat, so a piece of paper will not go under them. Okay? So now I'm going to put a connector tube through all three of these, and you have to have the longer 45-inch to do that. But if you only have the 27-inch, you can do it. Just do one at a time. So this is a 27-inch. So if you only have the 27-inch, what you're going to do is you're going to take your 27-inch connector tube. You're going to connect this main table and this fixed extension table. And you're going to have the connector tube sticking out on each end. Have them butted against each other. Now tighten these. And I'm going to do the same thing in the back one. Now, first thing you probably notice is, look at how easy this is to work on. I mean, it's just takes the aggravation out of doing this process because you got everything accessible right here on your workbench.
Not upside down either.
You're not having to deal with it being upside down. So here I am here. I've tightened those up. Now, mine are perfectly aligned. So when they're perfectly aligned, what will happen is when you tighten these against the connector, if they're not in alignment, it's going to move one of these tables off the surface of your workbench is what's going to happen. And if that's the case, then your piece of paper, mine still will not go under. So, but if they were not perfectly aligned, what would happen is you would find this piece of paper will go under one of these tables, one of these two tables. Most likely it's going to be this one. So now how do you correct that? Well, we're going to do that by just adjusting the front extrusion on there. And we're going to get your 5/32 Allen wrench and your 7/16 open wrench, and you've got a screw with a nut here and a screw with a nut here. So what you're going to do is you're going to loosen the nut on both of these so that this can move. Then you're going to take and make sure, then you'll move this table. It doesn't matter. You're always going to adjust this one. You're never going to adjust this one. So it doesn't matter if the paper is fitting under here but not here, or if it's fitting here and not here. You're going to do the process identically the same. Because when you loosen these up, that'll enable this table to move and be flat on your workbench. Once that happens, then you just take and tighten these up back to where they were. And then you'll do the same thing on the back side. Same process back there. When you're done, then, if you've done it correctly, you'll be able to take this table, put it on the other side, and it'll match up exactly with no adjustment. So I'm going to show you here. Actually, I don't need to take that out. move this over to here and this over to here. So if I take this over here now, okay, there we are. Those are together. Tighten that. That. These are tight. Okay. So when you do that, you'll see that the paper will not fit under this table at this end either at any place. Now that's how we do it on the fixed. For the floating, it's the same process. We're going to do the same thing on the floating. So I want you to see how perfectly aligned mine are doing that process, because I'm going to set up this as though I had all of my tables set up. I'm going to take out these short ones. I'm going to use a 5-foot extension tube just so I can demonstrate to you. Okay, so here's 2 extension tables, and I'm going to put 2 floating tables in there, and these I have aligned perfectly the same way that I did the others. Here we are on this one. And in fact, I don't have table space. I have a couple more floating tables I can do, but I'm just going to do this many right here. So here's a 5-foot here. Okay, I'm going to pull all those together, and I've got another 5-foot here. Okay, there's that. These are all pulled together. I'm going to tighten these knobs up on all of them. And same thing here. Okay, so now you'll see this piece of paper let's make sure we got that down on there. Let's see here. It's not going under there. Nope. It's perfect. Same thing on the back side here. So now that you've got this done, the only thing you have to do at the end is these tubes on here on your fixed extension table. And I'm going to show you what we do on that. For your fixed extension table, you're going to use a 27-inch connector tube. Here. Okay. And I just don't want to take mine apart to go through and do it all again. But I'm going to explain to you what we do. We take this off completely. Take it off. We're going to, so it's got it upside down. You take these nuts here, we remove them. And once we've removed them, we're going to take off the tubes. And then we're going to take this and we will mount it on here as though it were a floating table. And then we will take the tube, we'll put the tube down inside of here, have it down below. We can put the tube down in here before we put this on here as a floating table. Once you've got that down there, now we put this on, attach it as a floating table, connect them together, and then we're just going to take the tube and raise it up until it hits these nuts. And once it hits the nuts, then we will make sure that then we will put it back on. We will let it hang by these bottom ones here. So actually, I'm just go ahead and do it. It's not that big a deal. So I'll just take it apart and show you. Okay, so I've got to have a socket wrench here, and I think, let's see what size we need here. Yeah, I think it is a 9/16, so I'll get a 9/16 here. This here. Here we go, 9/16 right here. Okay. Okay. So we'll just take these off. Here's that. That one. That one. And this one. Okay. So we'll just take these off. These come off. All right, so we're going to start with this, putting it in here. Leave it all the way down there. Okay, so we want to take these nuts here, and you want to have them the same distance up. So what I did here is I screwed them all the way down, and then I unscrewed each one 4 full turns. So it's all the same. That's our starting point. Okay, so now I'm going to put my washers on here. You want to have the smooth side against the plate of the tubes. Scott Markwood talks about this in his video. Okay, so now we're just going to slide the table down this way after I put this back on. Lock that there. So you got to make sure you have these knobs locked. If you don't do that, this process doesn't work. All right. So now I'm going to slide this carriage down until it'll be a good idea to put my wheels down. So let's just move the machine over here a little bit and put the wheels up. All right, so I've got my washers there. We're going to slide this carriage down this way. And we're just going to adjust the position of the carriage so that this will go up into those. You have to kind of move these washers to get it to line up. That's what you got to do with the holes in the washers. There we go. Okay, so now that's up. Okay, now that I have that up there, I'm going to temporarily just tighten this just enough to hold that from falling down. So I've got them up against all of these. I'm going to tighten it just enough to hold it so it doesn't fall. Now I'm just going to check and make sure all of them are screwed down to be touching the top of the tube here. So that's your adjustment. Now they're all touching. Now we're going to put washers and nuts on the bottom side. So again, smooth side will be against the tube of the washer. Here's that one. I'll do this one. And the back too. That one. And this one. And we got one more left here. Okay. Now we're gonna tighten this nut just till it just starts touching up there. It's not going to turn anymore with any without having effort. There's that one. Just hand tight, just so it's up there touching. And that one there. Okay, now we're going to get these two. Now, at this point, we're going to unlock this. We want the tube to be hanging from the nut. We don't want to have it tightened in here. And now we're going to tighten it. So we start here with, keep that one still and tighten it each little bit at a time. I'll do this one here, about 1/4 of a turn. Oops.
Chair.
I'll do this one. 1/4 of a turn.
Chair.
No, I'm already here. I'll stay here. Then we'll do this one back here. 1/4 of a turn. And I'll do this one. Again, make sure you don't move that top nut. And we'll do that one 1/4 of a turn. All right, now we'll go back and do them again. Quarter of a turn on each one. And after doing this twice, quarter of a turn each time, they'll be snug enough. There we are. So that's done. So when you use your fixed extension table, can we put this camera back up higher?
Yes, you will.
Okay.
You want this?
No. Yeah, so I'll take it. So of course you can see this is just absolutely perfect everywhere. So when you use your fixed extension tables, use them with the connector tubes. I know some of you are in the habit of using these without the connector tubes. That's what gives you your perfect alignment, is those connector tubes. So I think this is about it for now. And you'll find doing it this way will save you a lot of time, a lot of aggravation. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.